They're going to do it, aren't they? They're actually going to do it. All the bookies, all the betting companies in the UK, as it stands right now, are making Arsenal title favourites. 3 goals conceded in 3 goals conceded in 10 games. Clean sheets in the League Cup, clean sheets in both games in the Champions League, top of the league in the Premier League. Everything seems to be going their way despite injuries to Saka, Noni Madueke, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard. Saliba gets injured. Mosquera comes in. If Timber can't play, Ben White comes in. Ethan Nwaneri, Max Dowman, Lewis Skelly, Saka, an academy producing obscene talent. But I want to talk about the title race, Arsenal and Liverpool. Yes, Manchester City are still in the race because when you've got a robot up front, he's always going to score goals. Between the 28th or 29th of December to the, I believe it's 16th of or 18th of January, should I say, that 3-week period in the Premier League season is massive for everyone. It is huge, but it's the biggest African Cup of Nations I will see probably in my lifetime in the Premier League. Looking at how important the players I'm going to speak about are to their respective clubs and why this tips things massively in the balance for one team in the title race. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. If you enjoy this sort of content, this video may be a little longer, so make sure you try and watch the content the whole way through. I'll try not to ramble on and get to the point. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button. The second channel will be pinned to this channel. So it might say Henry Talks Football and more Henry Talks Football. Please go over to the second channel and subscribe. Content will be out on there again soon. And we're less than 400 subs away from hitting 80,000. Now, the African Cup of Nations starts on the 29th of December. Now, you're probably thinking, Henry, why on earth are you thinking about the African Cup of Nations tournament? And Henry, why on earth is this relevant to the Premier League title race? Now, I will tell you that very, very shortly. Now, one player is playing in the AFCON from Liverpool, Mohamed Salah. And I want to talk about how this could be relevant to Liverpool's title race. Arsenal do not have any players this season playing in the African Cup of Nations. Meanwhile, Liverpool's best and their star asset could be out for a long period of time. Now, when you actually look at the African Cup of Nations and you look at the fixtures that are scheduled to be played, as you can see right here, Egypt will be playing against Angola on the 29th of December in the opening the opening fixtures. Now, it goes on until the 31st of December. Then you look at you can actually see the next round of games after that. On FootMob, you can actually see who Egypt are playing. We will skip this and come back to that. So the African Cup of Nations runs from the 29th of December, and the final is scheduled to be played on the 18th of January. Now, Egypt, of course, are one of the best African teams, and I believe last AFCON they lost to Senegal, and it was Salah versus Mane. As you can see right there, that is the final of AFCON. Now, I do, in my personal prediction, think Egypt will have a good tournament. Now, there are, lots of good African teams. You've got Morocco, Hakimi and Ziyech did really well at the last World Cup. Hakimi's Panenka penalty. You've got Senegal, who have got the likes of Mane, Sarr, Koulibaly, Sarr from Palace, etc. You've got Algeria. I do expect that Egypt will at least get, in my personal opinion, to the last 16, which happens to fall on the 3rd of January. Now, the last 16 game is on the 6th of January. So if you think from the 29th of December, normally 3 or 4 days before that, a player will be travelling with their national team during that time. Now, I've had a look at Liverpool's fixtures around that time, and let me tell you right now, one of the biggest games of the season, which is away at Arsenal, they will be missing. He could be missing. Now, as you can see, he would probably fly out, I'd imagine, a few days before. He may not play the Spurs game. He definitely will not be playing the Wolves or Leeds game. You'd imagine Liverpool have got enough in the tank, right? But he could also miss the Arsenal fixture, which would be just before there is I think that's an FA Cup weekend break. He would also miss Fulham away. Now, that for me is absolutely massive that Liverpool bring in or at least have their entire team by that time firing all cylinders. Now, if I look at Arsenal's fixtures around that period, I'm going to be brutally honest right now. I am predicting Arsenal to win the league purely on how strong their squad depth actually is. So, 27th, they play Brighton. 30th, they play Aston Villa. Then you look at early January, they've got Bournemouth away, and they have then got Liverpool. If you're telling me Liverpool will be turning up to the Emirates, potentially without Mohamed Salah, and if he goes to the final and goes to win it, in that potential scenario, the game he would miss would then be Burnley and Marseille away in the Champions League. So potentially there is an outcome there in which Salah does make the final with Egypt and he misses the Champions League game away to Marseille, who are doing very, very well in Ligue 1, and he doesn't play Burnley. That could tip the prediction of a lot of people. Like there aren't a lot of teams that are really missing that many players this year. You know, Ghana didn't qualify, so we won't be losing Kudus. Bournemouth won't be losing Semenyo. I think we lose Sarr because, of course, Senegal. Palace lose Sarr. And I think a lot of the other big African players playing in other leagues, you know, Victor Osimhen, for instance. It's going to be a very, very interesting AFCON tournament, but that is a potential scenario in which could tip the balance in Arsenal's favour. Now, I want to talk about this fixture coming up, which is the next Premier League game week. Now, Arsenal potentially could be 4 points clear by the time Liverpool have to play Manchester United. Now, all Liverpool fans have been telling me all over TikTok, all over the socials, a few of my friends are Liverpool fans, saying we're going to absolutely batter Man United. You don't know what you're talking about. Man United are awful. This is the first time Arne Slot has had to deal with defeats during his Liverpool time in consecutive succession. Now, I honestly look at this right here. That Man United game, if you look at Liverpool's past couple of results, I think they've struggled. They had over 30 shots last season at Anfield and drew 0-0. They battered them at Old Trafford and drew 0-0. With that added pressure of Arsenal potentially being 4 points clear, could be absolutely catastrophic for Liverpool. Now, I'm not writing off this Liverpool team. I'm seem to be one of the only people out here that still believe they have got the capabilities to win the Premier League. I just don't think, as it stands, they do actually win it. I'm looking at these next 10 games. Crystal Palace have got Liverpool's number, beating them twice in the last 2 games. Real Madrid, Man City away, Brentford away. This period of games is where we find out if Liverpool have what it takes to go and be champions again. I think right now a lot of people are predicting Arsenal to go and win the Premier League. But it can all change very, very quickly. It can all change very, very, very quickly. I'm looking at this fixture in early January as that for me, I'm not going to say who wins that decides the title, but I'm looking at the build-up to that fixture. The fact that Liverpool will not have Mohamed Salah, and a lot of people are predicting this Arsenal team to go on a run now and really start, pushing that gap. Fulham away, I think they win. Atletico Madrid, I think they win. Crystal Palace will be tough. Brighton have got Arsenal's number in the last few games. Burnley away, Slavia Praha away, and Sunderland away. I'll be honest with you guys. I think they draw one of those 7 games, but I think with absolute confidence, I will say that Arsenal win the next. Other than that draw, they win the other 6, and then after that, November is where we then find out what this Arsenal side is made of. This run of games, just like we're going to find out what Liverpool are made of in the next 10. North London derby will not be easy. Thomas Frank has got us gelled and performing. Bayern Munich, Harry Kane back at the Emirates. Chelsea away. Brentford at home. Villa away. Club Brugge away. Wolves at home. It's going to be a very, 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 very busy running of games. The next 6 weeks are massive for both teams. But there is that 3-week period in the Premier League, which I think a lot of people are sleeping on during AFCON. And that goes for a lot of teams as well. Crystal Palace, they're going to struggle without Sarr. We're going to struggle without Papamata Sarr. You've only got to look at some of the teams like Galatasaray, for instance. I think they lose something like 3 players to AFCON. It's going to be a very, very, very busy, congested season. And I think AFCON being at that point just spices it up a little bit more. But make sure you go down and drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. I'm out.